Hi everyone and welcome in. Venus here, and in this video we are going to be going over 5 unique, untalked about signs that you may have a twin flame. And I just wanted to input before we started the video that if you did feel compelled to come to this video, that may be a very good sign within itself that you do have a twin flame. And of course, these are just signs, so do not feel discouraged if you don't align or resonate with all of them. This does not discredit your own experiences. This is simply my own observations and experiences amongst myself and other twins I have encountered. I also wanted to give a huge shout out to my top 3 supporters on Patreon, Amy G, Radhika M, and Sarah R. Thank you guys as always for your generosity, and I'm so glad to have you guys on board supporting me on my Patreon account, so thank you so much for that. Sign number 1. As a child, you already knew who your twin is, or that you have one. Now, you may not have known as in you knew their name and where they live and who they are, and in fact, the concept of twin flames could have been completely foreign or even unknown to you. But a majority of twin flames are born with innate knowledge of their twin flame. It is a very distinct feeling. It is not something you know or you learn, but it is something you intuitively know, something a part of you. Now, as a child even, you were perhaps very romantic or had a lot of romantic ideas. You may have daydreamed about romance or may have enjoyed reading or watching romantic material. People may have considered you a hopeless romantic or even thought that you were too much in your head, too much in dreamland. So many twins I've met have stated that growing up, they felt as if already in a relationship. And while you may have longed for your twin in the physical, you never truly questioned where they were or when they'd come in, if they'd come in, because you simply believed your union to be true. This stems from that innate knowledge of having a twin flame. It is completely normal to doubt and second guess yourself, but deep down, that innate knowledge, that innate feeling, that tug that you feel, it will always be there. Now, this feeling or knowledge may project in various ways depending on each person. So, my best friend, for example, would write stories of her and her twin flame. Of course, she didn't know that this was what she was doing, but she would create herself into a character and place herself in a world in a different time and place and create love stories. And I specifically remember reading one which took place in the Victorian era, and I do believe that she may have in some form even been channeling a past life, moreover a past life with her and her twin flame. So drawing is another way people may channel information. An example from my experience is that as a child, I would often draw pictures of me and my twin flame, and I would tell people at 3 to 5 years old that this was my husband. And growing up, I always felt strange when people would ask me if I liked someone romantically, because in my head it was like, well, I already have someone. And I would never get into relationships because somehow I felt like I was cheating. No matter how much I did happen to like another person, it just didn't feel right to me. And so this brings me to sign number 2. So sign number 2 is that you may have had a hard time settling down or even casually dating. You may have never even been in a romantic relationship, or you may have ended romantic relationships quickly. You may not have been invested in these relationships, or you may have moved through them because of boredom or not feeling that spark. So twin flame love is really paradigm shattering. It is a type of love that is cosmic in power. Your soul knows the extremity and awe of this love, and so nothing else can really satisfy you. You may also feel like being with someone who you know isn't the one is, as I put it, cheating. I personally never played with the idea of being with another person, even when my twin wasn't yet in my life, because to me, they already were in my life. Not yet physically, though. And somehow I knew that even before I started my spiritual journey, and it was hard to put into words for other people. So I felt very confused as to why others couldn't understand this, and I had trouble articulating and communicating what it is I felt, what it is I meant, and what I knew and understood. So it is something that only people who are twin flames can really feel and resonate with. So the other people around you, however, may be functioning normally to the society. They seem to be in relationships, and parents, friends, and family may even question you or pressure you to settle down or find someone. They may question your identity or even your character and wonder what it is that is taking you so long. People may even look down upon you or look at you with pity when you tell them about your love life. Some people may even mistaken you as being innocent or perhaps bad at love or bad at dating, and many may even think there is something wrong with you. And I just have to say that if you have dealt with these things, you are not alone and everything will be okay. People just don't understand the pace at which your love is following, and they all expect you to follow a certain path, but your path is one that is charted elsewhere in the universe. It is something much more beautiful and much more divine than a set pattern society has for us, okay? So because of your innate knowledge, your soul knowledge about your twin flame, you very much know who your partner is meant to be, and so you may not pay much mind to other people. There is a feeling of knowing who the one is and knowing that the people you've met or known are not the one. No matter how good you and another person may look on paper, you know if they're not the one, they're not the one. You may be able to acknowledge another person's physical attractiveness, and you may even be able to see a million ways why you would be compatible with someone else, but you know it doesn't feel right and you know something is off. So in fact, you may even very much have the mindset of, I'll know who it is when I meet them. And most twin flames, most people even meeting their soulmates, this is the same mindset they have, and they're 10 out of 10 times always correct, always right. So you may be very stubborn in that sense, and others may not quite understand it, okay? You may even hear the word realistic being thrown in there a lot. Sign number 3. You learn from relationships around you, and you have a sixth sense for relationships. Hopefully I was able to say that number right. I kind of had a little bit of a lisp there. But this is often a sign that gets overlooked because it is so common in the twin flame population that, and even the spiritual population, people who are very intuitive and spiritual, that we just assume everyone is able to do it, so we overlook this. But there's definitely a psychic sense for relationships. So you are able to see, perhaps with your parents or your friends, their relationships, and you seem to subconsciously absorb all of it and learn from everything. So it's almost as if you are a part of the relationship with them, and you are growing and learning from it as much as they hopefully are as well. Now, you may have developed sensors for toxicity and are able to detect patterns and warning signs in relationships at an early age due to this. You know what can make or break a relationship because of this, and therefore, there really isn't any need for you to trial these out in a romantic relationship of your own. You come into relationships fully mature and developed. You can also sense whether or not couples, friends, people in romantic relationships are perfect matches. So you can sense whether they are good or bad for each other, whether they are helping or hurting each other, whether they are healthy for each other or not. You can also detect soulmate and twin flame relationships, as well as, unfortunately, karmic relationships when you see the people in question together, especially when you are with them in person. The level of skill you may have at this varies, but there is always a gut feeling. So a quick example from my experience with this sign, if you want to skip it, go ahead. I don't mind, but I remember meeting one of my childhood friend's girlfriend for the first time. So I got into the back seat behind the two of them in his car, and although she gave me this sort of look as if to mark her territory, it was just so full of, peeing all over the carpet, as I like to call it. I was completely giddy and elated and couldn't stop smiling because immediately sitting behind the two of them, I felt the connection. It was electric and they were just sitting there, not even interacting. But immediately I had the thought like, oh my god, these two people are soulmates and, perhaps even more. And I definitely think they are twin flames. And so we ended up going to the city, having a fun time, and I immediately became great friends with her. And after my friend dropped his girlfriend off, we were driving to my place, and he is not very spiritual. He doesn't believe in soulmates, whatever. And the minute she left the car, I immediately turned to him and I said, oh my gosh, I love her so much and I love the two of you together. The energy that the two of you have is something I have never seen in any of my other friends and in their relationships. You guys have something special, and I hope that if you guys do have problems and if you are going through drama or fighting, to just put it all behind you guys and not let it hurt the two of you, to quickly come to a solution, because you guys have something incredible and I can feel it with every part of my being. I honestly think you guys are soulmates and maybe even more, and I don't want you guys to give that up. I said that to him, perhaps even word for word. I was so elated and I was so happy that, someone close to me was able to manage this love of a lifetime. And he, like I said, does not believe in soulmates, but he sat there and he was kind of just smiling and he said, yeah, you know what, I really do believe it. I believe you for once. I know you always talk about spirituality and energy, but he was like, yeah, I see what you mean, and I definitely agree. I can't even explain it. Like, it's something I can't explain. It's something I've never felt before. Those were his words. So he confessed that it too was unlike something he had ever known. So yes, there is definitely a sixth sense when it comes to twin flames, this twin flame recognition. I feel as if this sign can be more enhanced depending on how much practice you have with it, and depending how in tune and spiritual you may be and how far along your spiritual journey you may be. Alrighty, and sign number 4. This sign is simple and requires less backstory or explaining. To have it simply put, you may have premonitions or visions or dreams or even psychic senses surrounding your twin flame. You could have had these things your whole life, or they could have awakened a bit later in time for your twin flame union. So this is feelings that you may meet your twin. This is dreams with someone you can feel in your dream as your soulmate. If you didn't have knowledge of what twin flames were, before I knew what twin flames were, I would often have these dreams, and I would call them soulmate dreams because I didn't have, the vocabulary to explain it. But dreams is another very beautiful sign. And then you may also receive signs from the universe, like repeating numbers or whatever you may consider signs. Many people speak of feathers or white butterflies. You may have your own totem animal or your own sign that you have important to you that may appear often. And you may have many synchronicities in the time of your union or just throughout your life, but especially before your physical union. So the number 1111, of course, is a popular one, as well as 222, 333, 444, 555, 777, 999. The list goes on, but these are some of the signs, number, synchronicities you may be experiencing. Sign number 5. This sign is centered around your goals and your dreams. So you may have many goals and many dreams, and some of them may even be as ambitious as being world famous or being a millionaire. But the goals that truly take up the biggest space in your heart are either simply being with the one or doing something to make the world a better place, helping other people, spreading light. Most of the time it is these two combined. Twin flames incarnate to awaken and uplift the consciousness of the world. This is why you may have already come into this world awake, or may have been put through a lot of things, most of which very painful to awaken quickly for this union in this lifetime. You may have many humanitarian goals and ambitions that stem from your life goals and ambitions. So to put that into an example, going back to the idea of wanting to be famous, you may want the fame with the double intention of using your fame to be a voice for a certain social justice movement. With the example of being a millionaire, you may want the money with the additional intention of creating some sort of rescue program or center for victims of trafficking. Or you may want to make your own utopian island. Or you may have ideas of creating a really big and beautiful charity or a brand that is eco-friendly, vegan, cruelty-free. You have a vision of the world as a utopia, and you want to be a hand in creating this utopia. So while you may have very big goals and ambitions and dreams, that also comes with giving back. In some way, you know you are going to be doing something to contributing to making this world a better place. And these were the 5 unique signs that you may have a twin flame. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Love and light. I wish you guys the best of luck, and I'll see you next time. Bye.